Hello everybody, what's up, and welcome to the channel where we learn to be true heroes in the world of Overwatch. Today I have another pro match commentary. This one's between REUNITED and NiP in the Lenovo Cup Playoffs. And I know I showed NiP a couple videos ago, but they're a pretty interesting team. They've been showing up a lot lately, so I don't think that there's too much of a problem with that. Now, real quick, before we start, there's something that really upsets me when casters and analysts say, oh, it's just 3-3 again, just tank-centric again. Nothing to really talk about here, nothing to say here. Well, sure, it might not be the most highbrow content. You might not have your pinky finger out while you're sipping a glass of wine, but there's still tons of stuff to talk about. And I think it's kind of, underrepresenting what's actually there to just be like, yep, just a bunch of Reinhardts smacking their hammers against each other. So I'm actually going to be talking about it because there's a lot of stuff to look at. It's not just two Reinhardts swinging their hammers, although that is an important factor, trust me. So REUNITED is on defense, and we're going to see them take sort of an interesting spot. So here they are, and if we look at their team composition, well, I think the camera's going to pan to a little bit of a nicer, there we go. So if we look at their team composition, first of all, this is the distance that they're firing from. So if you had like a Widowmaker, Hanzo, even McCree, just anybody shooting, this would not be the worst spot in the world. But if you look at their team comp here, literally the only person who's going to be exerting any damage over this distance is their Ana. So they do nothing by standing here except give NiP complete map control of everything on this side of the map. If they're going to run a team like this, they really should be holding up close somewhere over in these corners, because right now, if NiP were to run some sort of composition that had actual damage, like range damage, they could just sit here and shoot, and there would be literally nothing coming back at them from REUNITED, and REUNITED would be forced down anyway, and you're just giving positioning to NiP. Basically, in no world is this actually going to help you. So let's look out for that in the future. But moving on, NiP is running their own version of their attack tank-centric comp, but they're running a Hanzo, and we're going to see that NiP is just going to walk in here, and REUNITED can't actually do anything to them, so they're forced to drop down anyway. So what was the point of the high ground? But we're going to be doing a little bit of fighting, and the Roadhog gets a nice pick on the Reinhardt, and NiP is just going to fall back. This is very, very smart. So REUNITED got the opening pick on NiP's Reinhardt, and instead of continuing to fight, because continuing to fight would just give REUNITED more ultimate charge, NiP is going to say, okay, you already got your 400 hit points or whatever worth of ultimate charge from our Reinhardt. That's good enough. Now they can come into this fight again on even footing. And in fact, NiP is actually equal, not quite ahead. So again, REUNITED is going to stand on the high ground. It's going to do nothing. They're going to drop right down afterwards. But you can see that NiP keeps choking themselves out. Instead of going into more of an open, good area for them to fight in, they keep backing up into this little corner. Now, hooking the Reinhardt, I don't know if he intended to hook the Reinhardt or maybe someone behind him, but hooking the Reinhardt is probably not the greatest idea. And I can easily just nade him, keep him alive, get a ton of ult charge off of that. So there's no way you're going to wind up picking that off. Anyway, NiP gets pushed back again. And so I've been talking a lot about map movement, where NiP should go, how REUNITED is giving them a lot of map control, do whatever they want. So let's talk a little bit about what you can actually do with that map control. So here we are on Volskaya Industries. And remember, REUNITED is standing here. Their influence, because of their team composition, pretty much is, so if they're here, it pretty much extends outward to like this. It's pretty sad. Like, it's not very long at all because they have no range. Meaning, as the attacking team, you have all of this as your giant playground to do anything you want inside of. So if you had maybe a composition that had a little bit of range in it, now NiP did have a Hanzo, but it was only one Hanzo, which is kind of awkward in a team comp full of non-ranged heroes. But let's say a couple ranged heroes, and you come in here, they can't do anything to you. You can just come up here, around, and now you're up here, and you can shoot at REUNITED for absolutely free. Either they're forced to come down this corridor of death where you're just going to mow them down, or they have to back off. Chances are if they back off, they'd have to back off to down here, which is a pretty bad spot because now they're choked out of their own point, or they would have to I don't even know. There's pretty much no good out for them at that point. Probably the best place for them is to come down here and try to hide in this back sort of area. But they would be in pretty bad shape if you had a team up here shooting at them. Now, let's say that you didn't do that. Let's say you're NiP and you already picked your comp, which is a relatively close range comp. Now, they came in here, which is not the worst thing in the world, but at this point, they weren't being pressured by REUNITED. They still had 5 seconds or so to reposition themselves, do whatever they wanted before REUNITED jumped down on them. So instead of setting up in this choke point where they're just going to be super unhappy about anything that happens to them, they should have spread out and taken much more of these, I guess, more choice real estate parts of the point here. So back here is very nice, because if you sit back here, now your supports can run away up to here. I mean, you can even have your Ana just sit up here. This is a very nice spot for your Ana to be. You can also run away over here on the right side. And you could have even encroached a little bit more if you didn't want that area. You could get this back area, which is also very nice. Again, you can back up. You can back up to go back there. You can come back, and there's even a little health pack here for just all for you that you control. So there's lots of good places to go over in this area that NiP really didn't take advantage of. Instead, they just stayed in this little tiny 1 square foot area, and REUNITED just mowed them down because of it. Anyway, getting back into the game, I also am just noticing that REUNITED's team composition has a fatal flaw. Now, if you watched my team composition video that I posted just a little while ago, you would know that I value having counters to offensive ultimates very highly. So NiP is about to push in, but if we look, what does REUNITED do if NiP uses Graviton Surge plus Hanzo? Nothing. They can't do anything. Lucio ult does not stop that. It just out damages straight through the barrier. So once NiP gets this up, they just win immediately. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with Mafu's ult, but if he gets it, then that's GG right there, because REUNITED's comp can't deal with that. So let's get into the next push. Fraggy is going to just charge right in here, and that just goes to show how little value charge has in these types of engagements. He winds up getting hooked, taking a decent amount of damage, and we have the double nano boost coming out. Hanzo is actually going to blow his ult from NiP, take out just the one hero, but you can see that choke point just didn't do any favors for the very fragile Ana, Hanzo. Even the Lucio couldn't really maneuver around very much. Now the problem, and I said this in the last NiP video, the problem with the Hanzo in this composition is he doesn't really have anything to do. He doesn't have any synergy with the rest of the team. The rest of the team is like a melee go in and punch him in the face comp. And the Hanzo just sort of gets caught in the action so much. And Zappis rather is an amazing Hanzo player, he just can't get as much done as he normally would be able to in this sort of team comp. But pushing into this last fight, and real quick though, I'm legitimately wondering, did he use this? Has Mafu used his? Well, let's go. I'm going to scrub through and let's check his ultimate status from the beginning. So this is the beginning, and he's at 0%. And yeah, so in about 4 minutes, he still hasn't had a full ultimate up. That's probably part of the reason why NiP is struggling here. But that's just unfortunate. So REUNITED's going to jump down, and Winghaven's going to get a sick ultimate that we just saw earlier off. Going to get slept before the Fire Strike, unfortunately, so not going to get that damage off. Now, a charge is going to take him out of the fight. This is going to give NiP the opportunity. Unfortunately, the camera is in a really awkward place right now that the spectator has it in, so I can't really see what's going on in the match. But I will bet you top dollar that this play by Winghaven charging out gave NiP a huge opportunity to go in and get a lot of damage on a lot of heroes that they maybe shouldn't have been able to get it on, rather. At this point, you can see that 2 are down for REUNITED. The Ana just got caught out back here as well. So not having the Reinhardt forced a lot of REUNITED's team members to be kind of in an awkward position, which let Fraggy with the nano boost just go and tear them up. Nano boosted Reinhardt just absolutely destroys teams that are kind of all over the place because he can chase everyone down and pick them all off one by one. That's why it's so effective in solo queue. I mean, it's effective in competitive games, obviously, but it's even more unstoppable feeling in the ranked sort of unorganized environment because there's just no way to stop it if your team isn't coordinated. So we're going to come in here and just quick ultimate check. Mafu finally, about 4 minutes in the game. No beef on Mafu, by the way. He's cool. Stuff happened. So he's finally going to get his ultimate. And that's going to be pretty big in this fight because as you can see, nothing, literally nothing on Reunited where we have Tracer Bomb plus Zarya ultimate combo on NiP. So it's going to take a miracle or a huge mistake from NiP for Reunited to lose this fight. Let's see what happens. So here we come. We're going to have a little bit of harassment coming out from Valutaja on Tracer, but it's not too big of a deal. I'm seeing the clump up. I think it's going to come out. There it is. And there's a Tracer Bomb taking out a lot. And okay, so NiP doesn't wind up making a big mistake and Reunited loses the fight. There's literally, like, if NiP played that fight properly, Reunited was absolutely done. There was nothing they could have done. They had to win that last fight at the first point. And if they had done that, I'm sure they would have just wound up taking this match very, very easily. Now they will have to take not only the first point, but the second point, and then probably the first point again, and maybe the second point again after that, just because of one lost fight. So that was absolutely a huge win for NiP there at the last fight at that first point. So NiP running tank-centric, triple tank, but Zappos will be on the McCree. And Reunited is again running tank-centric, except they have Valutaja on the Tracer. Tracer definitely worked with this composition a lot more than Hanzo does because she likes to be right there up in the fray of things. Now the spectator is not looking at where NiP is at all. I am very curious. So it looks like they will be standing, if we can get there again. All right, so they're standing up here. Now this is a much nicer spot to stand than over here. I think I've already explained it a little bit, but this sphere of influence up front there doesn't give NiP any easy access past the choke point. So, I mean, Reunited rather. So NiP really locking down the map a lot more. Reunited is going to have a much more difficult time coming in than NiP did, just because of that up frontal position that NiP is currently standing in. But it looks like Reunited is going to speed boost through. The Tracer is going to get a little bit of harass on McCree. Zappos gets quite low and winds up getting taken down by Valutaja. But unfortunately, Reunited takes a couple losses in the Reinhardt and the Ana, which are huge players. But again, the Tracer winds up going huge, getting another kill. And now the fight's a little bit spread out. If Valutaja can get some nice plays off, they might be able to take this point because they're coming back. They have the spawn advantage, but he winds up going down. Now, Tracer should have known that he couldn't do any harassing against like a Roadhog and stuff like that. There's pretty much nothing that the Tracer could do there, but if he'd gone and harassed the spawn a little bit more, so Tracer was over here, just sort of hiding, and that doesn't actually put any pressure on NiP, because remember, Reunited's coming back, they want to come back fast, because they have that spawn advantage. If they get there quickly, they'll have the 6v3 right off the bat. NiP is trying to get back, so Tracer should have been pressuring the spawn, and really, really giving Reunited as much time as possible, even if it's only 5 or 6 seconds, as much time as possible to capitalize on that spawn advantage, the spawn distance advantage rather. But we did just see what happened, and it looks like the entire team is coming back now for Reunited. They're pushing through this left-hand side, or rather pushing all the way through, which is not going to really work out for them. I think that was pretty clearly not intended. I think that was a miscommunication, because the Reinhardt pushed all the way out and the rest of the team went into the left door. So like the Ana, or rather the, like the Lucio, some of the supports and stuff went through the room while the Reinhardt was outside, which made them very, very easy targets for Himsy and the rest of NiP to just go pick off. So I believe that was miscommunication. You should not be splitting your Reinhardt up from the rest of your team like that, but that's obvious. We're going to go into the next fight. Tracer is respawning for Reunited. And, well, if we look at the ultimates here, it's a little bit even, but I think if you look, so the fight's about to initiate, but real quick, let's look at the ultimates. So both teams, Reunited and NiP, have their Zarya ulted. In fact, NiP just used their Zarya ult, and I was about to point this out. Whoever gets the good Zarya ult first is going to win this fight because neither has the Lucio ult. Lucio ult is the only out that either of these teams have to the enemy team's Zarya ult. So basically, the first to pop the Zarya is going to wind up getting a lot of kills and winning. So we already saw the Zarya on NiP pop her ult first. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that NiP is going to win because of that. So let's check it out. Again, no Lucio ult to counter that. He was only at 89%. And it looks like NiP is indeed going to pull through. Now, REUNITED is going to come in with 6 ultimates, basically. Tracer's at 70%, but she's going to have her she's going to have her bomb by the end of the fight. NiP has quite a few answers, actually. NiP only has 3 ultimates themselves, but they have all the answers. They have the Reinhardt Earth Shatter to counter the Ana ult. They have the Lucio ult to counter the Zarya ult. Roadhog can counter the Ana ult as well. So they do have all the answers here. Just because they're down on ultimates doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to lose. So you do see the Lucio ult comes out and tries to block the REUNITED Zarya ult, but it doesn't actually do enough. The Tracer Bomb just does too much damage, and they wind up still getting the burst off anyway. So they're going to wind up taking the point. Now, REUNITED is coming to this next fight with pretty much no offensive ultimates except for the Roadhog, and he already used it. Now, the Roadhog had to save this for the Ana ult because the Roadhog can just push back the Reinhardt really, really well and just counter the ult completely. Now, did it really matter in the end? I guess not, because NiP blew everything when they probably shouldn't have. I think this is going to wind up nipping him in the back later on. The Zarya ult seemed a little bit excessive there. I'm pretty sure they would have won the fight without it. And now REUNITED is going to come in. They're going to definitely have their Tracer Bomb, their Ana ultimate, which is going to get them their Reinhardt ultimate. If Unfixed can get some spam in, then he's going to have his Zarya ultimate as well. And NiP have nothing except for a single Earth Shatter to try to stop all of this. So this is going to be a very, very difficult fight for NiP. Let's see if they can do anything about it. If REUNITED makes no mistakes here, they should win. So we see Valutaja on the Tracer coming on the Ana. The Spectator can't see much right now, but we see Unfixed does get a kill, which is going to give him his ultimate. He's at 99%. Here it comes pretty soon, I assume. Well, actually, it looks like, again, it's difficult to see because we're on the Tracer's perspective, but NiP is actually mostly dead at this point. So REUNITED has the point, and they're going to keep the point because there's no way that NiP can stall past a Zarya Reinhardt Tracer. So they did wind up taking the point, and NiP just wound up stalling them out with throwing their bodies at them for 10 to 15 more seconds. Now, into the next round, REUNITED is going to be attacking again. They're going to be using the same comp, NiP also on the same comp as well. So let's just see how the execution differs. Valutaja is going to be coming behind again, and the Spectator really, really likes this Tracer, I gotta say. Locked on Valutaja the entire time. And we're going to see kind of how, again, McCree is actually better than Hanzo, of course, but having that one random mid to long range hero in a otherwise very close up melee comp just makes it a little bit strange, because for the McCree to be truly safe, he has to walk up with his team, which puts him a little bit closer than he tends to want to be because his team is pretty close up. But NiP does wind up repelling it, not getting a ridiculous amount of ult charge except for on the Ana, who is going to pop it now to push back the second push of REUNITED. So REUNITED lost out a little bit on those opening blows, which led to NiP getting the early Ana ult and pushing them back, but now we're back on even footing. In fact, REUNITED has a little bit of an advantage here, so let's see what they can do. I think that maybe Fraggy using the Earth Shatter might not have been necessary, but we're going to get a pick on a Tracer, which is good, and maybe the Spectator will watch something else now. And now it's going to come out on the Reinhardt for REUNITED, which is going to be, amazing play. Nice by Winghaven. First of all, nice Earth Shatter. Getting the one kill with Fire Strike and then doing the charge on the Zarya was very good. Now, if Zappos goes down here, which he does, it looks like NiP has the point. Or rather, REUNITED. So here comes REUNITED to point B. They got 30 more seconds. Now, they either need to push in fast and lose fast, which will give them a second push, which I actually kind of prefer, or they can take it slow for just one nicer push, I guess. Now, NiP has quite a few ultimates, quite a few answers. They have the Lucio to ult REUNITED to out the Graviton Surge from REUNITED. So we're going to come in here. Graviton Surge is going to come out, but the Lucio is going to counter it. Fraggy's going to get nano boosted, and let's see what he can do. Earthshatter comes out on the enemy Reinhardt. Not going to do too much, though. He winds up just beating his hammer against the other Reinhardt, who's just going to get healed up by the Ana on Reunited. Gets a nice charge out, which is going to do a lot of damage, though. And I do apologize. It is a little bit difficult to see, but Reunited's going to get a couple kills in the back. That's pretty much it, though. They're out of time, and they're going to be pushed back by NiP. Unfixed is in a little bit of trouble. It looks like he couldn't quite get back in time. He's going to get picked off. If he does, that's pretty bad. Okay, so he's going to get picked off, which means there's no Zarya for the next fight for Reunited. NiP loses their Zarya as well, but she is going to be respawning very, very quickly. Reunited needs to push in now. N-O-W, and they wind up doing that. Swap onto the soldier to sprint back. Not sure why the camera's on him, though. NiP is going to wind up getting a nice pick on the Roadhog from Zappos, which is pretty much going to seal the deal. 4v6 not going to happen. With no real ults to speak of for Reunited, that's going to be the round. All right, we're on the final round. Same team comps from before when NiP was attacking at least. Same thing, still seeing Zappos on the Hanzo, and let's see how NiP are going to do it. Reunited sitting on the same spot again. NiP going to the same place again. Looks a little bit like deja vu to me. And are we going to have them collide again? No, looks like NiP is actually standing a little bit further back this time, being a little bit pickier with where they go. And this is exactly what they should be doing, because NiP has the chance to be picky with where they fight. Reunited is giving them the opportunity. No kills out so far, so let's see who will be the first to go down. Looks like Himsy's going to be hooked up, maybe wind up taking out KYB, but doesn't actually do it because the Ana from Reunited saves him. KYB is going to go down, which means NiP has to get back again. Good thing, and they did this last round that they were attacking as well. When the first player drops, if they're able to, they just get right back. No need to feed Reunited any ultimates that they don't have to be fed. That being said, KYB did get his ultimate, but Himsy has his as well, so that's very good by him. And we're equal on the Ana ultimates as well, so double Ana ult going to come out, except on NiP they're going to ult the Reinhardt, and on Reunited they're going to ult the Winston, and that's going to make it so NiP has the advantage this fight. Reinhardt does more with the ultimate, does more damage than the Winston, so because of it, it looks like the Reinhardt on Reunited is going to go down, and the Winston goes down as well. He jumped in a little bit too far, and he got isolated with those kind of high-ish damage heroes, Hanzo, Ana with the anti-heal, and maybe even the sleep. The spectator wasn't looking, so I'm not quite sure how he died, but regardless, NiP is going to take the point. They just need to take one more, 2 minutes remaining to take point B. And let's see if they can do it. Now, it's very often on Volskaya Industries that the attackers can win their first push if they have enough ultimates. But we just saw something from KYB. Now, if you look at what hero he has here, he has a Roadhog, which is, a Mei is probably better than a Roadhog on the first point here. But a Roadhog with ultimate is not better than a Mei. I think that's very, very questionable to switch from the ultimate ready Roadhog to the Mei. Now, Mei is a better pick here, so if they're really confident that they can win this next fight, if they don't think that NiP has much going for them, the Mei is good in the long term for the next push coming up when she gets her ultimate. But for the short term, for this coming fight, it's not nearly as good as Roadhog with ultimate. And you're going to see that NiP has 1, 2, 3, so they have the Ana ult, which might even get Fraggy his ult as well. So 3 ults going on 4. So they definitely do have firepower, and United has stuff themselves, but I don't know. With no Roadhog ult to counter the Ana ulted Fraggy, this might be dicey. Still though, Reunited coming into this with the ultimate advantage overall. So we're going to see the nano boost come out on NiP's Reinhardt, and Zarya ultimate's going to come out, but countered by Lucio. Dicey stuff happening, but Valotaged winds up getting 2 kills from the Zarya ulted NiP, but Fraggy gets a kill on the Zarya as well. Now Mei's going to try to kill the Roadhog, freezes him, which is going to give an easy charge to Winghaven, and it looks like Reunited actually pushed this back. So Reunited did wind up taking the fight, meaning the Mei ultimate is going to be up, and the Mei pick is going to pay off. Now, like I said, in the long term, if they lost that fight, then the Roadhog would have probably been really good, but because they won the fight, The Mei pick is actually okay. Oh, she's almost gonna go down though. Wow, what happened there? That just happened so fast, and the camera was kind of in a mediocre position. So let's play some detective work. So we're here, and remember, Zappos is on the Hanzo. He is quite a good player, as most of you know. And the Hanzo ult is going to come. So the Hanzo ult is going to take the Mei out down to very low. He's then going to go ahead and get a scatter shot or a headshot or something on Mort, on the Ana. And from there, REUNITED just gets absolutely torn apart. So honestly, I mean, Mei Ultimate is incredibly difficult to push through, especially because NiP didn't have much in the way of firepower ultimates themselves. It's not that REUNITED made terrible mistakes there. It's just that Zappos really great on Hanzo. Really carried that fight single-handedly pretty much. But it's not over yet. We have a Reinhardt slap battle going on, but it looks like Fraggy's getting more heals than Winghaven is, so Winghaven is pretty low. Running out of time here for NiP, so if REUNITED can push them back, then that's it. It's going to wind up being a tie, and it looks like Himsey goes down. This is starting to look okay for REUNITED, but oh my gosh, Fraggy gets so much because, well, Ana has ulted twice this fight on NiP. And if Zappos has good aim, if he can pick these characters off fast enough, NiP looks like they can maybe even take this point. And now they have the numbers advantage, so I think that NiP is actually going to take this. We have the Mei ult finally come out, but there's no damage to come with it. And wow, so I can't say that REUNITED did anything super mega terrible there, but NiP played that spectacularly. First, Zappos on the Hanzo predicted where the Mei was, knocked her off, wound up killing the Ana with, we couldn't see a scatter shot, a headshot or something like that. And then even later on, when he switched to Tracer, came back, he got like 2 or 3 kills on Tracer with great accuracy. So, yeah, Zappos great, but all the rest of NiP really just came out for that last fight. Absolutely, that was that transcended analysis to the point where they just had really amazing individual play. But wow, what a great game! I'm surprised. I just expected to see a regular old Volskaya Industries game, but that got really exciting near the end. And like I said, at a certain point, that transcended being able to analyze, and just the players on NiP went absolutely nuts. So that was a real pleasure to watch. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned a little bit, maybe even had a little bit of fun. So good luck in solo queue. Have a great day. Peace out, guys.